Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of My.Drive. My.Drive is going to be a video journal following me through my adventures in motorsport. I have a wide variety of interests in motorsport. I'm trying to participate myself in it as much as I possibly can. I'm going to take video and capture everything that happens at races that I go to, races that I participate in, and also races that I volunteer for. I'm also going to talk to other people to understand what drives them in motorsport and what got them into it in the first place. I'm going to interview a wide range of people from a wide range of disciplines. I'm also going to participate in a wide range of disciplines as well, from open wheel racing to rally racing. So I'm really hoping that you enjoy these videos, and thanks for following me on this journey. So this first episode is going to be about what my drive is, why I'm involved in motorsport. I've always liked motorsport since I was a kid. I remember watching IndyCar with my father and just how exciting it was, and from that moment on I was hooked. I followed motorsports all through my childhood years, reading as much as I possibly could, watching as much as I possibly could. At first it was just IndyCar, later on it became Formula One as well. I remember waking up in the early mornings to watch races with my dad. It was super exciting and super fun. So my dad got me into motorsport. He got into motorsport because he was actually good friends with Scott Goodyear in the late 70s and early 80s. He actually gave me this, which is a picture of Scott Goodyear racing in Formula Atlantic back in the early 80s. My dad went to tons of races with Scott across Canada in the eastern United States to go watch him race. And he told me a lot about Scott and how much of a great guy he was, and that really got my dad into motorsport. My dad took me to my first race when I was younger, to the Molson Indy Toronto, and I actually got to meet Scott Goodyear in person. He actually let me sit in his Mackenzie Indy car, and it was one of the coolest things that I've ever done in my entire life. I remember being in the back paddock area and getting to see his trailer, like the setup that they have, and it was just amazing. From there, I actually got involved in motorsport myself. In the late 90s and early 2000s, I raced kart for a few years in the Toronto Karting Club. It was really good fun. It was actually the club that James Hinchcliffe raced in, and he was actually in a division below me age-wise. I'm just a few years older than James is. But it was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Here's actually a picture of me racing my kart back then. Good old 00. I've actually kept that for any motorsport that I've been involved in since then. It was a lot of fun. Got to do it for a few years, as I said. Did fairly well. Had a few podiums. Never won a race. Normally was in the mid-pack. Usually ended the season in around 4th, 5th, or 6th place overall. It was good fun. We had to stop because we ended up running out of money a few years into it, which was kind of unfortunate. But for me then, because I couldn't participate in motorsport, I actually found a different sport to get involved in, and I started skiing. Skiing became my life in my teens and all the way through my 20s. I freestyle skied, park skied. I actually think I might have been one of the first people to ride twin tips in some of the parks up in Ontario. I really enjoyed skiing. It became really a part of me. I met some of my best friends that I'm still friends with today through skiing. I was pretty good at it too. I was sponsored by a few ski manufacturers through my competitive years, a bunch of local shops depending on where I was living. I got to compete all over the East Coast, so in Ontario, in Quebec, in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. It was pretty cool being able to travel there in my teens and my early 20s to be able to do that. It was some of the best experiences in my life, and that passion for skiing followed me through up until my adult years. I also ended up going to university and kept skiing while I was in university. Went to a university out in Eastern Canada so that I could still have access to some pretty good skiing. It was great, met some wonderful people who I'm still friends with again today. Yeah, after school, just ended up getting a job, worked for a few years, and then decided I wanted to do graduate studies. So I ended up traveling halfway across the country to go to graduate school and focusing on my career. All through this, I really was still into racing, still followed it, still watched it whenever I could. Studying and skiing really didn't leave me a lot of time to follow motorsport, but I tried to follow it as much as I could. I started getting interested again in motorsport when I actually finished graduate school. I started talking to a few people about getting into karting, but it never really seemed to work out, schedule-wise, with work, and also financially. So it was actually a few years until I actually started racing. I focused on my career for quite some time and skied recreationally with my friends, still going out 2 to 3 times a week because we live by a bunch of ski hills where we're at. And, I was really happy with the way things were going. I still really liked motorsport and was, watching, paying attention as much as I could. I really wanted to get into it. Big setback for me at that point, or what I thought was a barrier, was, finances and time-wise. I didn't really think that I could afford it. I didn't really think I had the time to put towards it. But it's always been something I wanted to do, and it's always been something I've been wanting to do kind of competitively as well. I really miss those days of karting. They were really fun. They were some of the best days of my life, even though it was when I was really young. But I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to start doing it again. Then 2 years ago, I had a very severe injury occur skiing. I ended up actually on a handrail blowing my knee apart. I required extensive surgery to put it back together. Details are I ended up dislocating my knee, severing my quadricep tendon, shaving off part of my femur and cartilage, and losing my kneecap. I had about a 4-inch gash in my leg from the impact, and it was pretty bad. I was under surgery for quite some time, close to 2 hours, and was in the hospital for, I think, about 4 days before I was allowed to leave. After the hospital, I wasn't able to actually move my leg. I wasn't able to walk for 4 months. So it was a pretty rough go of it. I didn't leave my house during those 4 months other than to go to medical appointments. It was really isolating. It was really lonely. Thank goodness I have a great partner, my wife Catherine, who was there for me to help me, to look after me, and also my dog Diefenbaker, who was just an awesome support during those lonely days. Because it was during the winter, and that's why I wasn't able to leave the house. On crutches, I couldn't, and my physician told me that I couldn't risk a fall. So it really sucked. It really, really sucked. But it gave me a lot of time to kind of think about things too. I ended up having to do about 1.5 years worth of rehab to get my leg back into pretty decent order. Surprisingly, my leg is in really good shape. I can run again. My surgeon didn't think that I actually would end up running again, but I really put my all into my rehab, kept myself as fit as I possibly could while I was waiting at home with the injury. So I was also out of work too for 5 months during that period, which was really sucked too. But we got through it. Everything worked out okay, which was good. And better things actually came from that. It gave me a lot of time to think. think about what I wanted to do career-wise, what I wanted to do personally, and what goals I wanted to accomplish. Like, though it wasn't a life-threatening injury, it was a mobility-threatening injury, and it, has changed my life. Like, there's not a single day that doesn't go by that I am in pain with my knee, that I don't know that it's there, that it doesn't impede my walking, or that I can't hear it when it moves. But it really did make me think about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to accomplish with my life. So I ended up actually changing jobs right after, going to a wonderful organization that I'm working at right now that actually affords me both financially and time-wise to pursue motorsport. But when I was injured, I really thought about what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was pursue motorsport. I was told that I wouldn't be able to ski again, which really sucks. Essentially, is if I started taking impact to my knee and need to get it replaced, like I'm in my 30s right now, they said I would need to get my knee replaced in my 40s, which essentially means that I'm going to need to get my knee replaced then 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s to the day I die, which I don't want to do. So I want to save my leg as best as I can, so I can keep walking and keep the actual joint as long as I can. So I really wanted to focus on motorsport. I thought, I'm not going to lose a chance to do this, because anything can happen. Like, it was a freak accident that happened. It was a rail that I'd skied on, numerous times. It was on my home mountain. It was just one weird thing happened, and boom, next thing I knew, I was laying on the snow, and the worst pain that I've ever experienced in my life. I had a pool of blood around me. So that's what that was. But after that, I started saving up and actually focused on karting. I ended up buying my own kart last year and raced a few races and really, really enjoyed it. It was really good fun. I did all right. I wouldn't say that I did terribly well. I'm an older guy, and the race league that I was racing in didn't have a master, so I was racing a senior. So, I was a 200-pound guy racing with, 160-pound people in their 20s. So there's a big weight difference in that. I can throw my weight around, but I don't want to. You don't want to break anything. Got about 10 races in last season. It was good. Really enjoyed it. But one of the things that ended up happening to me was during the August months, I ended up getting heat stroke really bad at two separate races. One of the races, I was in the final, I think it was about 5 laps in. My head just started spinning inside my helmet. And I pulled off the track, into the pit area, threw my helmet off, and just threw up everywhere. It was gross. And I ended up passing out. So it was really bad heat stroke. It really, really wasn't fun. And because that had happened, the next race was just a few weeks away. I thought I was recovered. I wasn't, and it had happened again. So I ended up actually trading in the kart at the end of the season. The fall was fine. Racing in the fall was fine. Spring was fine when the temperatures aren't too hot. But when, it's getting 40 degrees Celsius on the track, I can't handle the heat that well. I work in an air-conditioned office all day at work, so not accustomed to the heat as much as I'd like to be. So I ended up trading in the kart and ended up doing something different. I traded in my Mazda 3 that I had at the time, and ended up getting a Fiesta ST because I wanted to focus on trying to do rallycross and navigational rally. Rally's always been a motorsport that I've been really interested in. It was kind of weird for me as a kid because I did have friends that were into motorsport, but everybody was into open wheel racing or stock car. Rally wasn't really a thing that people talked about. There wasn't really a community when I was young that I could really get involved in with rallying. My dad wasn't really into it either. But I would watch rally on TSN, which is a sports channel up in Canada. I would wake up early to watch any of the televised races that they had. It was great watching the old Ford, Toyota, Mitsubishi, Subaru days of rally. And I became a huge fan of Tommy Mäkinen at that time. followed him religiously and just loved rally. And I watched a lot of the Canadian Rally Championship races on TSN2. I just really got into it. I just always really liked it, and like I said, didn't have a chance to participate in it. So it kind of just fell to the wayside when I started racing myself in kart. Because karting wasn't really working out, I thought I'd put my resources towards rally. I've gotten to go to a few professional rallies and spectate over the last year and a bit, which has been wonderful, and that's what's really got me hooked into it and wanting to really do it myself. So my goal is to actually build this Fiesta ST into a rally car over the next 4 to 5 years. It's going to take a long process. Like I make a pretty good wage, but I don't make enough to be able to, build something in a year or two. So it's going to be piece by piece, and you guys are going to get to see it be built through this. You're also going to see, us go through our training and learn how to rally race as well. My best friend Daryl is going to be my navigator, so you're going to get to meet him. You're going to also get to meet a bunch of my other friends that are going to help out on the car, and also friends of mine that just do motorsport, other types of motorsport as well, because I'm going to interview as many people as I can. So My.Drive is a channel that's going to journal my experiences through motorsport. I'm going to go to a lot of races. I'm going to go to professional rally races. I'm going to go to IndyCar. I'm going to go to Rallycross. So you're going to hopefully get exposed to a bunch of different types of races, and I'll try to get you as close to the action as I possibly can at them. You're also going to get to see me grow as a rallyist. I'm going to try and do some karting again this year, so you guys can check it out. It is really a cool sport, and it's the cheapest way that you can have wheel-to-wheel racing by far. And you're also going to get to see me help out other people as well. I'm going to try and work on people's vehicles and help them out crew-wise at events. So you're going to get to hopefully exposed to a lot of different types of motorsport. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody's support, both now and in the future. So like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. So the next video will be on the 2016 Rally Tall Pines in Bancroft, Ontario.